Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I am Steve Smith. How are you all tonight? I saw something this morning that brought out such a basic preparedness lesson that I started making the video this morning, and then the camera shut off. I guess I forgot to dump the cache and ran out of storage. So anyway, I've dumped that, and then I had to go out. We've been out working all day putting up Christmas lights. It's that time of year. 'Tis the season, and I feel like somebody's beat me with a board for hours. You know, when the season first starts, and I haven't been used to going out there and throwing around those heavy ladders and running up and down them. You know, it lets me know that I haven't been doing it for a while. One more sip, and then we'll get started. By the way, welcome to all of our new subscribers on YouTube and all of our new members over on Patreon. It's great to have you. When I got up this morning, I'm sorry. There's a couple of things that I need to say here before I get to the story. I just got a notice from Amazon that the next shipment of books should get to me on November 1st. So if you have put in an order for books and you haven't gotten them yet, that's when they're coming in to me, and then I'll get them out to you just as soon as I can, as soon as I get down here and sign them and get them to the post office and get them to you, and they will be on the way. And then I guess I'm going to have to put in another order pretty quick after that, because they keep selling out. Certainly not a problem that I'm sorry to have, and I thank you all for it. By the way, thank all of my readers in addition to my viewers. And if you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about, it's the Stonemont series, my series of books. The reversion, the revival, the renewal, an appeal to heaven, and the blessings of freedom. It's a complete lesson plan, a detailed lesson plan in 5 books of a novel series about preparing for, surviving, and rebuilding after a total collapse. If you haven't read them and you're interested in preparedness, you probably should, and you would probably like them. So the way to get them is I always put a link down there, down below in the information, and then I'll also, when I remember to, put a pinned comment. The way you can get them from Amazon in either paperback or Kindle, or you can get them directly from me. That's what I was talking about earlier. An autographed copy. You'll get them a lot faster from Amazon, I'll be honest, because that's what they specialize in. I specialize in writing. I don't specialize in shipping. So it takes a little longer from me. But you know, we've had a lot of people that go ahead and buy the Amazon the Kindle, because they want to read it right away. But then they will buy the paperbacks because they want to have it. You know, and I'm a big believer in books. You want to read them over and over and over again. I know some of our people are into the 4th time reading through the series because, you know, they find that they didn't catch a lot of stuff the first time through. They get caught up in the story and they don't see all of the lessons, and there's a bunch of them in there. The second thing, those of you who have ordered T-shirts, and I've had some people ask, and I should have had the T-shirts out here, I'm sorry, but I don't. But I had a couple of people ask, well, can I get the design on the back instead of the front? Yes, you can. And I'll get they're in the middle. My son's in the middle of making the website now, and then you'll be able to go to the website and you'll see all the pretty pictures of what the different, you know, logos are available and the sayings and all that. But right now we have an Integrative Preparedness T-shirt available and a Stonemont T-shirt available. The Stonemont says Stonemont, and then it has the pine tree in the middle, and then underneath it says "Where life is good," because it is good. If you've read the books, you know. And then the Integrative Preparedness, and that Stonemont one is basically on a tan or a khaki. And the Integrative Preparedness, and then it says, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. That's on kind of an OD green, kind of a heather green, actually. It's a really, really pretty color. But you can get either of those. If you order from me, you can get either one of those graphics on either color. So you can say, or in your order, just send me a note and say, Steve, I would like the Integrative Preparedness on the back in khaki, or Stonemont in khaki on the back, or Stonemont in green on the back, however you'd like to do it. It's going to be your shirt. And it's the new company that we have. We own the company, so we're able to do that, right? We're able to make specific orders for you like that, and I enjoy doing that. Okay. As simple as a nut. Because I knew right away that was what I was gonna name this one. When I came downstairs this morning, and I got my first cup of coffee, and I stepped into the downstairs bathroom, and our downstairs bathroom has a kind of a hexagonal window in it that looks out into some trees and things. It's a window that, to be honest, I look out a lot, not because I'm in there all the time, but because it's such a framed, it's a beautiful frame for what's going on outside. And today I happened to look out that window, and there was a squirrel in the tree right outside the window looking at me, and had a big old nut in his mouth. And I thought, the lesson was obvious. I said, okay, it's time to get prepared. He knows it's time to get prepared. And it's instinct for him. There's no problem. He's not worried about the state of the world. He's not worried about who's in office or who's not in office. He's not worried about Nord Stream 2. He's not worried about the southern border. He's not worried about gas prices. He's not worried about Biden and Putin. He's not worried about how corrupt his political representatives are. He's really not worried about much, because God instilled in him an instinct for survival. And he knows that this is the time of year he goes out and he gets more nuts, and God provides the nuts. And he goes and gets them, and he takes them up in his nest, and he's going to be up there, chewing on those, through the wintertime for he and his little family. So, where's the lesson for us? The lesson for us, as far as I can see, at least the lesson to me, is that preparedness should be instinctual. We spend a lot of time talking about it. And I, probably more than most, because very little of my talking about it is actually done on YouTube. So much of it is done in these and in other aspects of my business, because I am in the preparedness business. I don't just come on to make videos. So we talk and we think so much about it, and we make it complicated. We make it complicated. My gosh, if I see one more video about what somebody thinks the best knife is, or the best holster, or I don't know, this kind of stuff, or somebody who's rattling off the model and serial number of the last little piece of gear they got, I don't care, so it doesn't really bother me, but it's a head shaking thing for me. I said, it's obvious that this is filling some kind of need. I recognize that. But I guess what I wonder is why? Where does this need come from? And if I wanted to really take a deep dive into the psychology of it, I might come up with something like this. And I haven't thought about this before, it just now occurred to me. I might come up to this, that the average, that humans, we know deep down in our core that, survival can be tenuous. And it is our responsibility to prepare ourselves to be able to survive no matter what. But that most people really don't live on that level. They have this deep down feeling that they should, but they don't live on that level because, everybody has, they live in the world that we live in. They are, wrapped up in technology, wrapped up in the worldly problems, wrapped up in all sorts of things that, don't add to the quality of their lives. And I'm reminded of a saying, and I don't remember who said it. I heard it so many years ago. And it's really from the world of business. And it says, if you're not playing a big enough game, you're going to screw up the game you're playing just to give yourself something to do. And I think that might apply into this. It's that people, when they're not really thinking and not doing the groundwork or not being involved in a lifestyle, let me put it that way, that is one and the same with basic survival, they will find ways to entertain themselves through survival preparedness types of things in order to satisfy that basic need, because it is a basic need. And then, of course, 90% of the people out there are clueless. They don't have any idea what to do, and so they're not thinking about it at all, because they think that their survival is assured because we live in an easy world. Well, the complications that so many people put into preparedness and this idea of survival is simply an extension of the complications from which they should be separating themselves in the real world, which is driving them nuts. There's no reason to try to escape a world full of craziness only to jump into another world full of craziness, that consumes your attention. And I know a lot of people are in preparedness and survival for legitimate reasons. They really believe it, and I do, and you probably do too. And a lot of them are just playing at it because, just like I do, plenty of them that aren't serious. They just like to talk about it. They just like the gear. They just like the guns. They just like the this and the that. But they really haven't allowed themselves to mentally go there, to what if it really happened, whatever it happens to be. So they've kind of replaced, one frenzy with another. I'm sure I could take that down the psychological path quite a ways farther, but I won't, because I don't care, and because it's not necessary. The lesson here is that squirrel is the lesson. He is doing what he does to prepare for winter. He's doing that which is instinctual to him. He doesn't have to think about the brand of the nut. He doesn't have to think about, how many nuts he needs. He just knows he needs nuts, and he's going to go get them, and it's time to go get them because winter is coming. Isn't there a lesson there for us? Isn't there a lesson that the craziness that some people can fall into and they're striving for preparedness is actually counterproductive, at least as far as their mental equilibrium is concerned? The squirrel, he's probably up in his nest now. He's just hanging out there looking around at all the nuts he's brought up in there and feeling good. We should do pretty much the same. That squirrel isn't worried because he can't do a darn thing about what's going on in the world. He could get shot, he could get run over on the street, he could get eaten by my dog, as so many of his little friends have. But regardless of all that, he just knows that he needs to get some nuts and get ready for winter. So, preparedness really is that easy. It really is that easy. You don't need a whole bunch of different ways to start a fire. You don't need a $200 knife. You don't need another gun. Well, maybe you do. Maybe you do, because they're good investments. And I'm going to be making some more about some guns that I recently bought over on Patreon. I'm not going to do them here. It's not the latest compass. It's not the latest lightweight stuff, for bugging out. It's none of that. It's preparing yourself in the most basic, instinctual way that doesn't deprive you of your mental ease. See, that's really what it comes down to. That preparing should make you feel better, not worse. Does that make sense? Shouldn't make you feel frantic. And I'm not talking to most of the regular viewers here, because most of the people who belong to this channel already feel this way. They understand it. I'm really talking to any new people that come along. Don't let this stuff drive you nuts. Just do it. Just get out there and do what you instinctually know you should. You need food, you need water, you need shelter. You know, a squirrel needs his nest. A squirrel needs his nests. You need a shelter, you need your food, you need water, you need a way to protect yourself. A squirrel runs really fast up a tree. You know, when he sees my dog coming at it, most of us can't, so we need to protect ourselves differently. And then, you know what the squirrel really likes to do? He just likes to hang out with Mrs. Squirrel. and that should be the center of our attention too, is that it is family and friends. And no matter what happens with this world, that we can't have anything. It doesn't mean that I'm not interested. I pay attention, because what's happening in the world does give us an idea of what might be coming down or around the next curve, right? But there's not a lot we can do about it. And to allow it to mentally wind us up is not productive at all. So keep on doing what you're doing. Don't get upset. Don't get excited. Okay, it's been a long day. And just keep at it. And let your prepping process, along with the preps that you've put up, make you feel good and comfortable. And tomorrow, just do it again. That squirrel's going to be outside my window tomorrow, probably with another nut. I'm going to do something tomorrow to improve my position. You do something tomorrow to improve your position. And if there's anybody out there that you can kind of help, them find the way, do it, because they'll be an important part of, maybe the community that you'll need sometime. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm tired. So remember, if you want the books, they're down there. The links to them are down there. The T-shirts, the links to them are down there. You can have khaki, you can have green, you can have either message, you can have front or back or whatever. And I know I'm not showing them to you right now. And the website will be up pretty soon. So I'm going to leave it at there, because I think I need to go get something to eat. Remember, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. Go out and get your nut, and then feel good about it. And then you'll be ready for tomorrow. Now, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.